Church. It's a privilege to be here, and it's also a privilege to have this presentation. And I'm trusting God that as we gather this knowledge, we'll also run with it in Jesus' name. God is a holistic God. He's not just interested in our spirituality. He's also interested in our health. He's interested in what happens to our bodies. So with the health committee, we'll be talking on the rational use of antimicrobials. Next slide. this cough that we take Septrin for, at times, plus catarrh, it could even be a viral infection. And you just waste your money, you waste your system by using antibiotic. It cannot work on it. So getting the right diagnosis is very crucial. And most times, it could be treated empirically. If you go to a doctor, there is a way, there are some questions they will ask you. They will know that, okay, without lab tests, we can give these antibiotics. At other times, they may even request that a laboratory test be carried out. Because even among the group of the bacteria, there are still some sub-classification. And if you don't know which type of the classification of the bacteria you are talking about, the drug may not be effective. There's one of the tests we carry out, we call it culture and sensitivity test. That for the fact that Cipro, 3 minutes, they told me 15 minutes, so plus the light that they took, please, I can't spend 3 minutes. Plus, you know that even for that particular group of bacteria, there's still a subgroup under it that some tests need to be run. And for the fact that Cipro is being used even for a particular infection does not mean that that particular strain, it might not even be effective. So they need to carry out a sensitivity test. So proper diagnosis is very important. Secondly, talking about the right dose, we are simply talking about the quantity of the drug that is in the blood that is sufficient to be able to handle or to attack that microorganism. When you take drug, it doesn't just remain at the level of your stomach. It gets absorbed into the bloodstream. And there's a level of concentration it should reach in the bloodstream for it to be able to fight that microorganism. And so if you don't take your drug in the right quantity, the quantity that is sufficient to be able to attack that microorganism might not be achieved, even in the bloodstream. And also, talking about the right frequency. Now, when you take that drug, that particular quantity, there is need for the quantity to be sustained in the blood. And so, this calls for another dose to be repeated. And so, we call it frequency of time. How many times that drug is to be taken? Many a time when you go, they will say, take the drug once daily, or twice daily, or 3 times daily. That how many times is very important when you are taking antimicrobials. And let me also say that when they say a drug is to be taken once daily, it means every 24 hours. It means that you can't just take it by 6 p.m. today, and that's okay, they say every day. Tomorrow, you take it by 6 a.m. No, the concentration that is needed to be able to attack that microorganism will not be sustained. And it's as if you have wasted your money and you are wasting your organ. So when they say 24 hours, it means the time you took it today is the same time you will take it tomorrow. If you take by 6 a.m. today, you will take it by 6 a.m. tomorrow. Until you will finish it, you will maintain that timing. If they say twice a day, 24 hours divided by 2, 12 hours interval. That means if you are taking by 8 a.m., you will take the next one by 8 p.m. If it's 3 times a day, every 8 hours. So even if you are not told properly on how to take it, you can use your sense and divide it. Particularly when it comes to antimicrobials, we don't joke with when you take that drug. You can't just take it anyhow. Next slide. Right duration of time. That means the period of time by which the drug is to be taken. There are some of the antimicrobials you take for 5 days. Some could even be for 2 weeks. Some could even be for months. We have those that even take it for years, like our HIV drugs and some other chronic ailments, you know. So the point we want to make out of it is that don't say that me, I'm okay. At times you have taken anti-malaria for 1 or 2 days. Anti-malaria that is to be taken for 3 days. I'm not having the headache again. I'm not having the fever again. So you stop the drug. When it comes to infectious diseases, even when you are not feeling the symptoms again, continue to the period of time for which the drug is meant to be taken. Because you need that concentration to be able to clear the organisms away from your system. Right route means that if they say it should be taken by mouth, or if they say it should be inserted, some of us, we ladies that have vaginal infection at times, there are some of these are drugs for infection, for vaginal infection that are pessaries. They are to be inserted into the vagina. But if you don't know, it looks like tablets. You can swallow it. So taking it for the right route is very crucial and very important. The right condition. How do you take the drug? As common as our normal anti-malaria that we are using now, as common as they are, do you know some of them are not to be taken with vitamin C or with orange or with grapefruit? So how a drug should be taken is also very important. Talking about some are to be taken with food. Everybody believes that all drugs are to be taken with food. Do you know some are to be taken on empty stomach? Some are better absorbed on empty stomach. So all of these things you are supposed to be counseled when you are taking a drug. You are supposed to be told. There are some of our antibiotics that are not even good to be taken with milk. And some of us say it's only tea I can use to take my drug. And when you are using milk inside that tea, it has a way of reducing the effect of that antimicrobial. So the right condition by which a drug should be taken is also very important. Next slide. Now, what is the importance of rational use of antimicrobials? Why should I take this drug? Why must I do tests? Why should I have a right diagnosis before and I should take it at the right dose, in the right dose, the right quantity, at the right time? Why the right duration and all of that? One, it prevents misuse of antimicrobials. We are living in an environment that everybody is having typhoid and malaria. Many times people will come to my office and I will say, I've been treating typhoid. I say, for how long? They will say, for 4 years, for 10 years ago. And I'm saying, does typhoid not clear from the system? Everybody feeling feverish in an environment to say it's typhoid. It may not be typhoid. Don't waste, if you have not actually tested, if you have not gone to the hospital, don't just take antimicrobials. Prevent misuse of it. There are some things, everything is not drug. Some things, ordinary hot water will cure it. Some cough that you are having, hot water, protect yourself. They may be able to help. So it's not everything that is antimicrobials. It's not everything that is drug. It prevents misuse of antimicrobials. It prevents underdose. It prevents overdose. It also prevents what we call antimicrobial resistance, and it enhances efficiency and effectiveness. Talking about antimicrobial resistance, next slide. Antimicrobial resistance. Next slide, please. Yes, what is antimicrobial? No, the previous one. What is antimicrobial resistance? It occurs when there is a misuse or an overuse or even underuse of antimicrobial. That you don't have an infection and you took antibiotic, resistance can occur. That you did not take your drug well, resistance can occur. That you take antibiotics regularly more than you should take, resistance can occur. And what is antimicrobial resistance? That the microorganism, they are saying that in as much as you did not treat me well, I'm going to have some defensive mechanism so that even when you take that drug, I'm going to start fighting the drug. I'm going to also attack. I'm going to also resist. So the microorganism develops some mechanism in order to defend themselves against the antimicrobial that you are giving. And so they do this in several ways. They can prevent the drug from even entering into their cells. Because drugs enter into the cells, they attack them by entering into the cells. Some may even enter into the cell, but they will not bind onto the receptor where the drug is supposed to bind and attack them. And some will even render the drug useless. You have taken it, but it doesn't change anything in them. And so you are happy that you have taken drug. Meanwhile, nothing has happened. And so when antimicrobial resistance happens, or when it takes place, it makes the infections harder to treat. Those of us that take Cipro anyhow, the microorganism develop a resistant strain of that microorganism that is causing it. And you are not only risk to yourself alone. Even that particular microorganism that have developed resistance, you can transmit it, because we know infectious diseases are transmittable diseases. You can transmit that resistant strain even to another person. And the person will also go, next slide. And the person will also go and transmit it even to other people. And so you are not only endangering your own life, you are endangering the life of the health workers where you are going to the hospital, you are endangering the life of your family members, you are endangering the life of even the public. You are endangering their lives. And so that's just the diagram to showcase that. Next slide. Safety tips. So what should we do? Maybe when you are sick, get the right diagnosis. Don't be a doctor of yourself. I know we live in a time that going to the hospital is difficult. No money. You just see antibiotic. You just carry and use. Get the right diagnosis so that you don't spend more later. Avoid the use of microbials or antibiotics without prescription. Laboratory test is important, both before and even after treatment. Many times after treatment we get well, we don't go back again. When the doctor say come back and redo another test, let's do it to know whether the thing has actually been cleared or not. Follow the instruction of drug usage. Take them exactly as prescribed. Don't say this one is too small, I will take 2. No. And then don't take antibiotics prescribed for somebody else. Some of us that are mothers, I don't know if you can follow it, because you have antibiotic you use for this other child and the child is coughing, another one is coughing tomorrow. They say don't just take antibiotic prescribed for another person. Next slide. Antibiotics can save lives, but they are not everything. Antibiotics appropriate, you take antibiotics appropriately so that you can get the best treatment that you need when it arises. Protect yourself, protect others. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Now that you know, let us take drug responsibly, particularly antimicrobials. Thank you.
I would have said you should also clap for me.